Well, we're in the studio with Richard Jacques, deep in central London, and we're just going to have a bit of a chat about his work and what's forthcoming on the realm. So, hi Richard.
Hi Tom.
First of all, thank you very much for getting involved in the project. Really excited to have you on board.
No problem at all. Thanks for inviting me. It's a great project to be involved with.
Cool. So, yeah, maybe let's just go back in time. To maybe just say a bit about yourself, or where you started, and maybe up to where we first met, which was quite a few years ago now.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I mean, going right back in the day, I grew up in a musical family. My parents are both music teachers, so it was a very natural environment that music was kind of around me all the time. So I started learning the piano when I was 5 years old and started on the trombone when I was 7. And then I was studying music at school, etc. From the age of 12, I was studying at the Junior Royal Academy of Music here in London every Saturday, playing in orchestras, learning music theory, harmony, composition, etc. Then I studied at Wells Cathedral School, which is a specialist music school here in the UK. Then after that I went and did a music degree, and very shortly after that I started working for a large video game company in London.
As we know.
And that's where you and I met.
So that was Sega.
Correct.
Of course. So yeah, So I started my career there as well. So fresh-faced young game developers.
Yeah, I started literally 3 days after finishing my degree. I finished my music degree on a Friday, moved up to London on the Saturday, and started my career in video game music on the Monday.
Yeah, but of course. So after Sega, you basically went on your own, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, during my time at Sega, I worked on a lot of Sega's big IPs, a lot of different products for Sega, and then in 2001, when I scored Headhunter, which was the first big orchestral score that I recorded at Abbey Road, shortly after that I went to form my own company, and have been ever since, and been working with lots of different game developers and publishers all over the world. Lots of TV, some films, some advertising, lots of different kind of work for various people.
As you say, you've worked on lots of stuff. Do you want to maybe mention some of your favourite projects that maybe people might know about?
Sure. Yeah, there's quite a bit to choose from. From my own personal point of view, obviously the fans have their favourites. From my point of view, James Bond 007 Bloodstone is something I'm proud of. That's a project I scored for Activision a couple of years ago. You know, it was great working on a James Bond franchise, having the whole orchestra, writing an action score. It was just an amazing experience. Also Mass Effect for BioWare, that was a tremendous project to be involved with, and one of my favourite games. Also other projects like Alice in Wonderland for Disney was a very creative process, just allowing me to kind of do my thing on it. It was great working with the guys on that. Other things like Little Big Planet for Sony, I've worked on a lot of Little Big Planet related projects over the past few years, and that's been good because the music's kind of a quirky mixture of styles, and it's always a really fun experience working on those kind of titles. So lots of different kinds of video game titles, and lots of different kinds of music as well.
Yeah, so I mean, as you say, you do lots of different styles, and so you trained as a trombonist, but obviously I know that you're a very gifted piano player as well. So I presume that you compose mostly on piano to begin with, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, my process is to basically, you know, take a look at the visuals or the game design or the characters or the artwork, you know, have some meetings with the team and just get an idea of what their vision is for the game, for the project or the film or the show, and see what I can bring to the table, and then discuss some musical ideas, maybe try a few things out, and I would predominantly write at the piano or at the keyboard, you know, sometimes with the computer in my studio, and sometimes just in my head. A lot of the big themes in the James Bond soundtrack and also in Headhunter were composed on the train. You know, I always take a notepad, because I think when you're writing a big theme, an important theme like the main theme for a game or for the central character, I find it personally quite useful to be away from a keyboard or have any distractions, because any instrument will kind of lead you down one direction with your dexterity at the keyboard or on the guitar or whatever it may be. So I just find that quite useful sometimes, and also when those melodies just pop into your head, you need to get them down pretty quickly.
So, I mean, I sense that you're, deep down, you're really drawn to orchestral music. Is that a fair thing to say? And maybe is that something that we're going to find in the realm for soundtrack?
I think it's a fair thing to say. Having been a trombone player and playing, I played in orchestras for 20 years, and I still do some amateur to this day. It's one of those things that really is in your blood, if you like. If you grow up as a rock guitarist, it's the same kind of thing. That will always be in your blood. So, yeah, I find the orchestra has so much soul to it. It's so flexible as an instrument itself. The orchestra can create any emotion, any setting. It's it's a wonderful body of people and experience and talent in its own right. So yes, I am very much drawn to that, but I do still go back to other influences and electronica. I still combine a lot of hybrid electronic instruments with the orchestra, or even jazz and big band I've used quite a lot because I did a lot of jazz training. So when the project's applicable, then I would go back and use those kind of styles when it suits. For the realm itself, yeah, I mean it's a pure adventure game in the purest sense. So it enables me to create a sort of lavish orchestral score, but there's going to be lots of parts where it's going to be quite minimalistic, maybe quite slow tempo. It really depends on how the gameplay kind of flows. But I think it's going to be a superb opportunity to actually, firmly root the player in this amazing world that the team have been creating with the artwork. So it's going to be something different that people won't have heard from me necessarily. There's a couple of projects I was working on that didn't actually make the shelves a few years ago, but people won't necessarily have heard this style from me, but it's been something I've been just wanting to do for years and years, and now I've got the opportunity to do it, so it's really exciting.
I'm really excited about it because I know I've heard some of your other work that you've done in various games where you've kind of hinted at that kind of more atmospheric soundtracks. And that's actually my favourite stuff of yours.
Interesting.
So I think this is. Hopefully, I'm going to hope you really going to enjoy this project.
I mean, having scored the trailer, that was just a fantastic, day. A couple of days I spent on that. It was just really nice to see the visuals there, and the whole trailer just kind of spoke to me and said what it needed. I'm just really the channel through, all the people involved with the project, if you like. Which I know sounds a little bit, but no, I mean, as a composer or an artist or a writer or anyone like that, as soon as you're involved with something that just is so apparent of what it needs, and then you can just literally, use your technical skills and do it. It's amazing, and I really genuinely feel this is one of the first projects in quite a long time where I can just do what I do, and it'll match the visuals perfectly in the gameplay, and I think it's going to be a really exciting process to see how it all fits together, and I'm already looking forward to the end result.
Excellent. Well, we're all looking forward to it. So yeah, well, thanks for having a chat.
Thanks for coming down.
Cheers.